You're listening to the Main Street Deal, part of Main Street Media. I'm Jordan. It's Monday, June 29th, 2026. Today, we're walking through one real listing on the market right now. The business is a residential heating and cooling company on Long Island in Suffolk County, New York. It has been serving that same stretch of the island for more than 50 years. Same trade, same territory. 2 generations of customers. The seller is an owner who is winding down, and what's on the table is the operating business, the name, the customer book, the inventory, and a fleet of 10 fully equipped service trucks. This is a current biz-buy-sell listing, so the numbers I'm about to give you are the seller's numbers, not audited figures. Here's the shape of it. Gross revenue runs about $2,500,000 a year. Seller's discretionary earnings, the cash flow a full-time owner-operator could expect to take home, is listed at roughly $400,000. The asking price is $1,490,000. Let's start with the multiple, because that's where the conversation begins. $1,490,000 divided by 400,000 of earnings is just over 3.7 times. Now, for residential HVAC, the earnings multiples we typically see run from about 2 times on the low end to roughly 3.8 on the high end, with the middle of the market sitting close to 3 times. So this seller is asking at the very top of the range. Not impossible, not crazy for a 50-year book with a fleet included, but you are paying full retail. That's your first yellow flag. The price assumes everything goes right. Now the financing, because the multiple only matters next to what it costs you to carry it. Run this as a standard SBA 7A acquisition loan. 10% down on $1,490,000 is $149,000 out of your pocket at close. That leaves $1,341,000 financed at 9.3% over 10 years. Your payment lands at about $17,200 a month. Over a year, that's roughly $200,000 to $6,500 in debt service. Sit with that for a second. The business throws off $400,000 of earnings, and they loan each $206,000 of it. That leaves you about $193,500 in post-debt earnings. And out of that $193,000, you still have to pay yourself, replace trucks as they age, and hold a cash reserve for a slow winter. On a 50-year business at the top of its multiple, that is a real margin, but it is not a comfortable one. You are buying yourself a job and a debt load at the same time. So where do you point your diligence? 3 places specific to this business. First, the revenue mix. There is a world of difference between $2,500,000 of one-time installs and replacements and $2,500,000 that includes a big base of recurring maintenance agreements. Recurring service contracts are the actual asset here because they survive the owner leaving. Ask the broker exactly how many active maintenance agreements exist and what share of revenue they represent. If most of this is one-off replacement work driven by the owner's personal relationships, the price gets harder to justify. Second, the license. New York requires a licensed individual to hold and operate an HVAC and refrigeration business, and after 50 years, that license very likely sits with the retiring owner. You need to know before anything else whether that license transfers with the sale or walks out the door with him. If it walks, you cannot legally run the company on day one, and that changes the entire deal. Third, the fleet and the team. The listing leads with 10 service trucks, which tells you this runs on a field crew, probably somewhere between 10 and 14 people across the trucks and the office. 2 questions there. Well, how old are those trucks and how much replacement spending is coming due in the next 2 years? Because that comes straight out of your earnings. And will the technicians stay through a change of ownership? Because in the trades, the techs are the relationship with the customer. Here's my verdict. This is a pursue, but only with price discipline. The single biggest reason is durability. A 50-year-old residential HVAC book in a dense established market with recurring service work in a trade that does not disappear in a downturn is a genuinely strong asset. That's worth chasing, but you chase it at 3.7 times with your eyes open, and you use the rich multiple as your room to negotiate. And the one question to ask the broker before anything else: does the New York Master HVAC license transfer with the business, or does it leave with the owner? Everything else, the price, the trucks, the contracts, is a conversation you only get to have if the answer to that one is the right one. That's it for Monday. Find all of Main Street Media's shows wherever you listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you Thursday for an operator story.